Snapshots are a good way to look at history, a moment in time, and that's one of the reasons why I spent hours with the San Diego History Center and with history professors at University of San Diego looking at snapshots of San Diego's history. We looked at pictures from 1953, the year that KGTV started. We wanted to see what San Diego looked like back then, how far we've come, and what it can teach us about where we are now. The view from above can show you a lot, and these aerial photos taken in 1953 of Little Italy, the La Jolla Beach, Hillcrest, and Encinitas show a San Diego that's not quite as dense or developed, but ready to become America's finest city.
I think of it as this sort of in-between period where we're going from what had existed before the boom of the Second World War to what's going to become sort of the San Diego that we see today.
Dr. David Miller, a history professor at USD, who also edits the Journal of San Diego History, told me 1953 was a transformational year where San Diego started to lay the foundation for what it would become. If I were to say to you, San Diego in 1953, what image does that conjure in your mind as someone who's studied San Diego history?
Yeah, so San Diego in 1953 it's really a time of transition. It's a time of growth.
Census documents show San Diego County only had 556,808 residents in 1950 and just 8 officially incorporated cities. Population would nearly double in the next 10 years. 1953 provided a few pivotal events to enable that growth. Caltrans celebrated the opening of the Oceanside Carlsbad Freeway, the first major freeway in the San Diego metro area. Building 10 miles then cost just $9.2 million. That freeway brought independence, letting people move away from downtown. That's why in 1953, city planners began work on the Claremont Village Within a City design that would lay the groundwork for suburban development.
It follows really the national trend. You learn about Levittown and sort of those models on the East Coast of these planned communities in suburbia, and something very similar is happening right here in San Diego.
Miller also told me the needs of a growing population led to a boom in education. In 1953, San Diego State welcomed its 4th president, Dr. Malcolm Love. He would help turn the then Teachers College into a major state university. And USD, just 1 year after opening its women's college, continued construction of the men's college and law school, both of which welcomed students in 1954.
It reflects the reality of the 1950s, which is this growing population and meeting the needs of, young people who are now going to college. Not only is it a snapshot of the growth of the moment, but it's also, again, part of this transition, because as you said, it's going to put San Diego on the map for a lot of reasons.
Some people made history in 1953, too. Madge Bradley was sworn in as the county's first ever female judge. And Bob Hope stopped by as well. I just love this picture, by the way. Bob Hope clowning around at what would become the Farmers Open. It has this zeitgeist of the 50s captured within it.
And I think when I think of the 50s, when a lot of people think of the 50s, they think of the famous movie Some Like It Hot, filmed at the Hotel Del in the late 1950s, and it sort of captures this mystique in this era. This is going to become a hallmark of San Diego with golf and the golf industry, with tourism, with weather and the sunshine. And San Diego really begins to transition to become this tourist destination.
Other pictures from 1953 show how far we've come. A small children's hospital in Kearny Mesa in 1953 is now Rady, a sprawling campus that's one of the top pediatric hospitals in the country. Here's the San Ysidro border crossing, then and now as the busiest land crossing in America. Camp Pendleton's main gate has also changed a bit since 1953. So has the zoo. This picture is the gorilla enclosure 70 years ago. Things are a lot better now as the zoo has become a world leader in animal care, conservation, and extinction protection.
The San Diego Zoo that we see now, much more elaborate, much more user-friendly, much more enjoyable. Again, a perfect image of how this transition has happened and how much has changed in the last 70 years.
Snapshots of a moment in time that Miller told me also help explain why in 1953 there was a need for a new TV station.
To me, when I look at all this change in the 1950s, it makes perfect sense that a new television station would emerge on the scene at the exact same time that new universities and new shopping centers and new populations and new neighborhoods are also emerging on the scene. You're feeding that need to a growing market.
Such a fun way to look at history and see where we are now. And when you think about also another way to kind of look at that, what wasn't here in 1953? The 8 through Mission Valley didn't open until 1958. UC San Diego and SeaWorld didn't open until 1964. Even the Coronado Bridge, one of the icons of our city right now, wasn't here until 1967. So you can see how much we have grown, how far San Diego has come in the last 70 years. And really, just like Dr. Miller said, a lot of that started just like KGTV did in 1953.